To print a dark garment, we're going to start by pre-pressing. So we're going to set our heat press to medium pressure, and we want this to be at 340 degrees for 15 seconds. My timer was set at 40, so I'll let it go down to 25. And that's my 15 seconds. We do that to drive out the moisture and to flatten the fibers. We're now going to take this and pre-treat it. Roll the garment in one direction only. We'll now dry this garment for between 35 and 40 seconds using either the Teflon sheet or release paper. Medium pressure. And now we'll print the shirt. We load the shirt onto the platen. When you're loading your dark garments, resist the temptation to smooth out wrinkles by running your hand across the surface of the garment. That'll raise the fibers, which is everything we're trying to do, is to flatten these fibers, so we don't want to do that. Resist that temptation. Now we're going to lower the bed a little bit, bring the front edge just underneath the sensor, pull this tight to this rail, make sure the gap light's on. Hold the up button until it seeks its own height. Release that. Press load. Now let's take a look at setting up the rip for a black shirt. We start by picking the black print cue. We import our file. We now select which platen we're putting the image on. Now we set the size of the image. Now we set the placement of the image. We're bringing it 2 1/4 down from the collar. Now we rip the image. Now processing times vary based on the speed of your computer. After the file's done ripping, we print. The way a dark garment prints, it prints the white underbase first. Then it comes back and it receives the color layer on top of that. After the white underbase has printed, the platen will eject out the back. At this point in time, we don't want to disturb that, so you don't want to try and pull that towards you or move it. It's going to return back under to the front on its own. Now it's going back in to receive the color pass. When drying a dark shirt, we remove it from the platen carefully, the opposite way of the way we put it on. So we'll start by removing the sides. Then we'll remove the bottom. Then we'll remove the top, ensuring that the sleeves don't fold onto the print. You do want to remember that these prints are wet right now. We bring it over to the heat press. Okay. We want to make sure that we have little or no pressure on the heat press. All we want to do is make contact with the surface. We don't want any real pressure when it comes to drying garments. We want to be at 340 degrees, and the way we prefer to dry any kind of a dark garment or any garment with a white underbase is we want to hover for 1 minute and then dry for the actual 2-minute period of time. So I have the timer set for 1 minute. I'm in a hover position. That means that the heat is not making contact at all with the print. You'll notice that I did not put any kind of a sheet on top. I want the heat from the heat press to radiate directly onto that wet ink. At the conclusion of 1 minute, I'm going to release the heat press. I'm now going to reset the timer for 2 minutes. And there are 3 different products I can put on top of this print to protect the iron. I can put release paper, which is preferred. I can use a Teflon sheet, or I can put a piece of parchment paper on top. If I use the release paper or the Teflon sheet, when I'm done drying, I will get a slightly glossy finish. If I use parchment paper, I will get a slightly flat or matted finish. So I'm going to use the release paper. I'm going to set it up there. I'm going to make sure that we don't move it once it's up on top of the print. Pull the heat press down, and we will make contact with the surface of that garment and dry that for 2 minutes additional at 340 degrees. The total drying time on this is 3 minutes. So again, we have 1 minute of hover time and 2 minutes of actual contact with the iron. At the conclusion of our 2 minutes of contact, we release the iron, we remove the covering sheet, and there is our completed print.